What's going on, y'all? We back with another one. We are in the Burn at the Rolling Studios. I'm in the building with my guy Cam, and we have a special guest today. We got Moso in the building, and we have his companion, Sueno. Yes, sir. What's going on, y'all? Let me drop some horns real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, spice it up,
man.
Yeah, we're glad to be here, man. I appreciate y'all for real.
Anytime, bro. So what's going on, man? How you feeling today?
Yeah, I mean, we good. Other than the drive, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we way out here.
It's a trip out here, bro.
Yeah,
man. Fell asleep.
It was a troop low key, but we good, man. We're glad
it's
to
all
be
right.
here.
It's all right though. We got some family in the building today. Shout out to everybody behind the cameras. We got BT. We got Vado on the vlog. My guy Chuck in the building.
Smooth.
So, yeah, that's my guy right there. So, how did that relationship start? We're gonna start off with right there. How did that go?
Yeah, so we met in college.
A word?
You feel me? So we both connected off the football stuff. Feel me? He was playing D3 ball at Western New England in Mass.
Okay.
And yeah, first day I met this nigga, man. We was freestyling. We was doing some shit. Niggas was freestyling. He go crazy off the freestyle. I don't know if y'all know, but yeah, I just walked in. Everybody was trying to mingle and get to know each other. So we walked into a dorm room. This nigga was going crazy. So then we started joining in, and then from that moment we just clicked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Off of the music stuff. So
real recognized real, man.
Yeah.
So we kind of skipped a little bit of steps, but where did it start for you, man? Like, where you from? Give the people a little bit of background about yourself, and
yeah, for sure. So I'm from Mali originally. Family's from Mali, West Africa.
Hold on.
Yeah,
we gonna drop some
out to Africa, man.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's a country that get overlooked by, like, you know, Nigeria, Ghana, but it's there.
Yeah.
You feel me? And yeah, grew up in Harlem. So
We in the building, baby.
yeah, yes sir. We need another horn for that.
Hold on. I got something better.
There we go.
We here with it.
Yeah, so raised in Harlem, pretty much. I basically say, you know, Mali made me, Harlem raised me.
Yeah.
So spent some time in Mali, about 5 years there.
Okay.
You know, back and forth. But yeah, I'm real cultured. Pretty much grew up in the city, played football up north in Mass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, here and there I travel the world a lot too. So that's like something I'm really big on.
Yeah.
But the music thing really started in like middle school.
Yeah.
Feel me? And, you know, being in Harlem, of course, you know, it's either you're going to be in the streets or you're going to spend some other time doing other things, like
absolutely.
other extracurriculars. So one of my teachers, he used to be like, yo, you bad, man, but you smart. So he used to push me to go to the boys club.
Yeah.
And, you know, they had like a studio set up there and an instructor who was willing to teach kids instruments.
Yeah.
So I picked up the drums, you know, eventually got into piano, keyboard, and then it just progressed into like producing beats. And then, yeah, you just started getting into the studio with this nigga.
Yeah. That's what's up,
Yeah,
man.
he like really pushed me. So shout out to Chuck Smooth too. He pushed me to get in the studio. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So from the beginning stages, like growing up in Harlem, like how is that catered to your swag? Like you say you came from Mali and you said Mali made you, Harlem raised you. So taking pieces in from Mali and Harlem, how is that catered to what you do now behind the mic when you're making music?
That's a good question. I mean, you know, it's definitely like a good blend into my identity. So, you know, it's funny when people kind of hear my sound and the music off bat, you could get a good understanding of it, because it's like you kind of hear a Harlem swag, but there's also a African Afrobeat type of flow to it. So, you know, off a first glance, you might not understand it, but once you just listen with easy, open ears, you know, it just flow. It feel good. So I would say the best way to really like encapsulate it is just listen to the music. You'll hear exactly how those two identities blend together.
Yeah.
It's funny you bring that up, because I was listening to some of the songs today and yesterday, and I was wondering like where the influence came, like what kind of genre like your music really fell into, and that was the first thing I was wondering, like where you were from, because you could hear like some of that like Afrobeat type stuff going on with like some R&B. So like that's interesting to bring up. It definitely all clicks now. And like when you were growing up, was there influences in the household that kind of pushed you towards music? Was there anybody there that was musically inclined?
Nah, actually, like my family, they listen to traditional African music.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So there's like madrasa, there's, djembe and all that stuff, cultural stuff.
Yeah.
Salif Keita, he's like a prominent African artist. So, we used to listen to those type of stuff in the house while my mom's cooking, whatever. You hear those like strings and type of like banjo instruments, just classical African stuff. But for the most part, my influence when it comes to music in Harlem was pretty much like, it was based off of like 50 Cent, early 2000s R&B, like The Dream. Who else? Like Lloyd, Weezy was going crazy when we was going to high school,
Yeah, fact.
So I kind of just tapped into that myself, like, getting the first iPods and downloading like 4,000 songs on there and just putting them on shuffle. You feel me? Using LimeWire and all that.
Yeah.
So
Getting the viruses.
Yeah,
all the viruses, bro.
Computer's done.
Won a free iPhone. We all did it.
And did you have like any inclination that you would eventually end up in music? Like, were you singing from a young age? Like some people are in church, they're singing or whatever, and like the choir or whatever. Like, were you doing any of that, or was it kind of just out on a whim?
Nah, it was random. It was random. So, like I said, we kind of just, I took it step by step. Started with the instruments. I had no idea of even what, being in the studio was like.
Yeah.
One thing I got to give credit to is my older brother. He had like a soundboard where you would just make beats on it, like
like an MPC type of
thing? Yeah, he
yeah.
had one of those. And it was intriguing. You feel me? I was always curious and shit. So, I fucked around with that. He had a microphone as well, so I used to sneak in his closet and just hear how my voice sound. But it was nothing crazy. Mm-hmm. I didn't really get into the stew until like Chuck pushed me get in there and like start, getting used to just being behind the microphone and locking in the stew.
So part of that, it was mainly like football. Is that where you started as a kid? Like that was like the main focus, right? I would assume.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up playing football, so we definitely know.
What position you played?
I was a slot receiver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Get to it.
Yeah.
So it's great. It's cool that you say you were a receiver too, because when you're a receiver, you gotta be an artist when you're running those routes. You know what I'm saying? So it's dope that you played ball and that's the position you chose, and then it just so happens that you're an artist that's bringing your music and things to life. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying, growing up coming from another country, or just being you know what I'm saying, coming from another country, did you always have a chip on your shoulder? Because I'm like, my family's from a third world country in Guyana as well.
Oh, word.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I'm first generation American as well. So I know what that's like. You know what I'm saying? So with that upbringing, do you have a chip on your shoulder when it comes to like making things happen, or do like what you say you want to do, like putting it to, or actually bringing it to fruition?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, like, Mali really gets overshadowed by all the other countries, but it's a place of deep culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's Timbuktu, like the first library, known to man type thing. Mansa Musa was like the first.
Absolutely.
Well, he's like the richest person. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
And people are just starting to learn about the culture.
Yeah.
So there is a chip on my shoulder, and I think even besides that, just the chip on your shoulder of being broke. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I think we can all relate to that, just trying to find any means to get it.
Yeah.
So I would say there's that aspect, but ultimately I'm in the mission for like my family first and foremost. That's like my big pillar that I stand on. So, I do it for family. I do it for friends that are in my inner circle, and just want to leave a legacy. No matter what it is I do, I go 110%.
Back. So you speak about family. Who are some of those family members that kind of give them a little bit of a shout out, or the people that drive you, or even some of the ones that, maybe not have saw your vision and now they see it and it's like, yo, like,
yeah,
you told me you was gonna do this shit. You know what I'm saying? You know how that goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, because even with this podcast and shit, sometimes like my mom was like, "You on a podcast?" And I was like, look, you got to watch it. Then she
Right.
started watching, you know what I'm saying? Now she believes and sees the vision, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Sometimes when you tell people you're going to do something, they're like, oh, all right, yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
It's usually the moms, bro.
Yeah.
And you know how it go, because like when you first generation,
Yeah,
they want you to take that traditional,
absolutely.
like go be a doctor, go do this, you know. So, you know, I think they build a certain amount of respect when they actually see you chasing. Like they're gonna tell you to go and be safe. They're gonna tell you the safe route, because that's what a mom is supposed to do.
Absolutely.
So, you know, to answer your question, I would say that person is my mom. Like on the way here, Sueno Pete, she called me, and like she just want to be on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, man, I gotta
work.
yeah. You know what I'm
still
saying?
chasing.
And at some point, they learn to respect your craft and respect your consistency, but you got to put in that effort too.
Absolutely.
and
You got to
them
show that there's a plan. You can't just be out here like doing X, Y, and Z and there's no plan behind it. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you have a vision, you have to lay the steps down, and whether you're setting goals for every week or for every couple of months or whatever it is, as long as you're doing the right things and putting yourselves in positions to win, you know what I'm saying? They can't have nothing but grace and respect for what you're trying to do for a living, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, I had to like prove myself through other means. So another thing that y'all might not be aware of is I did the whole e-commerce thing.
Okay.
Before I got into the music, just as a means of like making money first.
Yeah.
So I was able to prove myself in that way, like showing I'm good. I'm at a point where I'm taking care of your bills now. I'm paying my bills and your bills, so you can't really, you know, like you got to learn to just trust my process, and you know everybody got their own timing with things. So, that's definitely like a big influence.
Yeah. So, exploring that e-commerce, like, what was that like? You know what I'm saying? That means you got to be a businessman. You know what I'm saying? You got to be 10 toes, boots on the ground, working to make that shit work.
For sure. You know, it take consistency. It take persistence and like just a whole bunch of trial and error.
Yeah, there's a lot of no's in that.
Yeah.
So you get a couple yeses.
You know, I got lucky because I got in a little bit before it was mainstream. Like I feel like it got mainstream after COVID hit. But you know, I got in before. I saw the potential and I stuck with it. So you know, it's a lot of learning, a lot of trial and error, a lot of advertising that you got to learn too. So it goes hand in hand with the music thing in certain ways, because marketing is like 80% of the work.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's pretty cool. But as far as just having the general business acumen, I've been hustling like since a youngin'.
Absolutely.
In between going to the boys club, I was selling candy at school. So, you know, I always had that business acumen, and just, you know, combining it with the creativity, I feel like that's what's bringing me where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you bring up the marketing, like I feel like in the music industry now, like creating like a brand around yourself is obviously so huge, and like we see it even in our community, like people who are great artists, but maybe like the content that putting out isn't, you know, up to par, or just really doesn't look the quality that you're expecting from somebody who is like portraying the success. So just like looking at your page, you know, the media and the content always looks like it's spot on. So like, who are some of the people involved in that? What does that look like for you?
This dude right here.
Sueno.
What's going on, man?
I've
been taking care of his media for like the past 7 months maybe, since we started like really going full throttle.
Sure.
But in general, I've been doing it for like about 7 years, so I've always been around cameras. At first I wanted to be in front of the camera, but now I just found my place, like actually recording and having more fun filming content instead of being the one. Even though I am an artist still, but I find more fun actually filming instead of being
it's
in
still
front
an
of the
artistry.
camera.
It's still the same thing. Like you're kind of just bringing like an idea or like a visualization.
I say like I'm bringing someone's idea to life.
Yeah.
The best way I can, you know. So if even if it's like helping someone out that I know that I could, you know, make something and they'll feel good about it, then so be it. Like.
So you guys game planning beforehand, like how you want things to be branded, how you want it to look? Like, is there a vision that you're trying to keep standard throughout the process?
I feel like I learn every day, so it kind of changes. But as far as for like what he wants, we've been improvising along a lot, right? Like we of course we plan out, but a lot of it has been like improvisation. So if something doesn't fall through, we gotta think of something on the spot. We're just not gonna give up and be like, all right, let's do this another time. Nah,
yeah, now you gotta
get
make
it done.
work.
Yeah.
So, but for the most part, I feel like we've been doing a good job, and
I think
this is only the beginning. I don't even like think about now, because I know a year from now, 2 years from now is gonna be a whole different ball game.
Right.
I'm talking home runs and grand slams.
Absolutely.
And going back to what you were saying, Ken, before we got started, is like, you don't know what's gonna work.
Exactly.
And that's one thing I had to learn the hard way in the e-commerce game. The product you think is gonna work, it's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we're big on. Obviously, we got a plan and a direction, a general direction, but we gotta learn how to adapt with the changes in the platforms, what people feel in the trends. So there is that level of improvisation in there.
Yeah, the environment's always gonna play a factor. So like you could do all the planning you want, and things ain't gonna go as planned. You know what I'm saying? It's always gonna be the timing that it's supposed to be with that.
I feel like a lot of the times too is people were scared to take like a risk.
Absolutely.
Like, bro, just jump in the water, bro. You're gonna learn how to swim when you're there. Even though I'm terrified of water, but it's a good analogy to use right now. But
Yeah.
I say, bro, like if anyone is like thinking of doing something but they're like hesitant, just do it, bro. The worst you could do is fail.
Yeah.
But then you know how it feels to fail, so now you know what to avoid the next time.
And you want to know what one of the most simplest things I've heard that kind of replayed in my head since I heard it? You can't spell a million without an L.
Hello.
So you're gonna take a lot of L's before you can win. You know what I'm saying? So
You take 2 L's, what that makes a W.
I like
you take that W and put it upside down, you get an M. So that's how you get your millions.
Come on, man.
I feel like it's unique in music too. Like there's so many talented people that are scared of like the opinions of other people. Like they don't want to put out a product to be like judged, and everyone's scared of like that negative feedback. Like, is that something that you've had to face, or like do you ever get uncomfortable maybe seeing yourself on the screen where you're like kind of second guessing things?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you that passionate about your art, it becomes you. So when somebody critique it, it hurt a little bit, but I've learned to like separate the art from me too. Even though it is an extension of me, it's like, people are allowed to have their opinions on it. So I embrace it, you know what I'm saying? I embrace it. I know that that's part of the game, and I just brush it off like, all right, thanks for the engagement. If it's something negative, but we don't really come across that. Music tough.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, exactly. But when it does pop up here and there, we like, all right, cool.
Yeah, and that's with everything in life though, because like even like when you're talking about business, when you're talking about music, when you talk about podcasting, you're not gonna be everybody's cup of tea. And you be like, yo, damn, and it could be your man, it could be your right hand man. It's like, yo, throw this on your story for me real quick. Like, oh yeah, I got you. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like you can't be upset at people because they have an opinion. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the fact it's your art and it's your craft, like you gotta be persistent, and it's gonna be the random people that's in Canada, the random people that's in Cali, the random people that's in Nevada. That's gonna fuck with your shit more than people that you grew up with, like out the mud with. And it'd be like, yo, damn, that shit hurt a little bit, but it's like, these are the things, this is the process that everybody's going through. You know what I'm saying? To get where they're gonna go. You gotta like, and that's what they say. They like, you gotta go outside your towns and shit like that and take over there and then come back home. And it's gonna be instant gratification. Sucks as like that, but that's just what it is.
I feel like that's one of the hardest parts, especially in the Northeast, like getting out of your own community.
Getting out
when
your
it comes
region,
to
man.
Business or like artistry, like that's the toughest part. Like just getting past that initial like speed bump. Like once you get out of there and start growing and you figure out who your fan base is, no matter where they are, that's how you really start to develop. So I always think it's interesting, like, what does your creative process look like when it comes to making music? Like I'm always interested to see how, artists develop, that song or that video, whatever it is. What does it look like for you?
Go ahead, go first.
Yeah, so, I would say now I just started to get the process solidified, like finding a rhythm that works for me. I do waver from it from time to time, but 80% of the time I'm just punching in. It starts with a beat. Yeah. And, you might hear a beat and be at a certain state of mind, and it don't sound good, but you hear the same beat at a different state of mind, and now it's a song. So it starts with the beat. If you feeling it, I imagine visuals.
That's what we were just talking about the other day.
Yeah, so when I hear a beat go off, I'm thinking of visuals and I'm thinking of a concept already in my head. So as I'm punching in, most of the time my eyes be closed because I'm just daydreaming the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's how it comes about. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, we just had a really successful like videographer come on the podcast like a week or two ago, and we were asking the same question, and he was saying like when he starts to shoot the footage and he starts to see the environment, the first thing he thinks about is like what song he's going to use and how he's going to make it into like a music video essentially. Like he's primarily doing like MMA fights.
Okay.
But like he just paints this whole, great picture, and that was the first thing he said. So I'm always curious, what does it look like for you? How does it kind of play out when you're creating visuals?
I mean, so I never really like think of like how I'm gonna make the video. I much rather wait until I hear the song and then I get home, and then I honestly for me is like at 4 a.m. in the morning when I like creativity hits its peak and I'm like, all right, everything's slow, no noise. Now I could just like start looking up, just getting like inspiration from like a whole bunch of videos and I'll kind of give my own twist to it. Like I won't copy it, but I'll just take little bits and pieces and like mash them all together and then or even just break away from it. But I get inspired by a lot of things. I'm on YouTube looking at videos all night just because as a videographer you always want to know like new stuff. So it's like even if it's new equipment, but you just always want to stay a step ahead because it's like you want to just keep your knife sharp. Like you never want it to go dull. So.
Yeah, I watched I've been following for a long time like Cole Bennett and like how he makes some of these music videos and like it's just I'm constantly evolving. Like,
I ain't visual effect crazy, but I feel like as far as the cinematic route, that's where I've been like color grading and stuff like that. Like people ask me a lot like, yo, how you get your footage to look like that? I have the same camera, and I'm like, dude, you don't even know how many hours I've stood in front of my camera, in front of my computer screen just. I don't call Mo at 2 a.m. like, yo, look, bro, look at this. The same night, the same day we filmed, I sent him a video, and he's like, yo, you probably using AI to do this. And I said, bro, hell no. Yeah, bro,
I ain't even get home. I'm driving home from the same shit.
Same thing last
episode. Bro. So like,
I'm like, bro, what AI system you using? Right?
So I hate bringing up the old, but literally we had another videographer a couple weeks ago. This is literally what he said. So one of our boys fights. Before he got home from the fight, he's in the club trying to turn up. He's like, yo, I'm in the section. I'm getting videos already edited. And so with that, it's like, do you know, like, when because you guys work together, you guys are a team.
Yeah.
So you being an artist as well, do you know what
that
you're already looking
helps.
for?
That 100% helps. Because I would, like, I kind of use what I would want as an artist, and I kind of, like, implement it, like, all right, so these angles, and this works, and this works. Maybe it worked for me. Let me try it out for him. Even though, let's say, like, certain stuff doesn't look right, I would still get it because it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. You know what I'm saying? So
you got to have that chemistry. I mean, I always think, like, if I was an artist, if I was some type of musician and I'm working with a producer or, like, somebody creating music videos and you're not really fucking with it, like, that's kind of an awkward conversation.
No, I mean, like,
I'm not really feeling it.
There's times people be like, yo, bro, can you, like fix this and fix that? Of course, I'll do a revision, Bro, I'm not doing the entire video over, bro. You kidding me, bro? Like,
that's wild.
So with y'all, what does that look like as you guys being a trio? You know what I'm saying? You on the camera, you making a lot of music. You make music as well. Chuck behind the scenes, handling the business. How does that constructive criticism look like in between y'all? Like, is there times where it's like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? You guys get at each other. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Even with this podcast and shit, it's not easy. Right. So, like, what's that constructive criticism and how do you guys balance each other out?
Yeah,
because I know you guys are all passionate about what you guys are doing.
I mean, I think it come down to, we was boys before all of this.
Absolutely.
Right? So
we've been boys since middle school. So it's like we go sandbox with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So having that criticism, it's like we cut each other out. So it's like it's nothing really. We understand that it's for the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's easier to take the criticism that way. But usually the conversation is like on some bro shit. Like, yo, you could have probably done this. Nah, that's not going to work, bro. Just let's do this instead. Always come with a solution. That's another thing.
Yeah. So like we don't never just be like, oh, bro, like he'll show me a song and I'll be like, nah, bro, this song is whack, bro. You shouldn't have did it. I'll be like, yo, maybe you should tweak this a little something. Maybe it'll sound a little better. You know what I'm saying? So it's never like, it's no backlash without something to help them with it. So you know what I'm saying. So I would never just throw out like bad vibes and not give them anything on top of that.
That's how you know it's genuine too. Like if somebody come at me with criticism and they just critique it and be like, yo, you know, too much auto tune.
Yeah.
All right, so what should I do now? Obviously, that means turn the auto tune down. But if they come with a solution, it makes it more genuine
and makes it easier to digest too. Because it's like, yo, damn, I thought I killed that shit. And you come down here and tell me like, nah, that ain't it, bro.
Exactly. So
you said Safari. Oh man.
So how are you like picking like your catalog of songs that you're putting out? Because I know like some people take the approach now where they just like flood the market with everything and kind of just see what sticks to the wall. It seems like you're a little bit more selective with what songs you're like putting out. Like, how does that process look? Are you trying to take a more conservative approach?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a balance between being conservative and still feeding the algorithm, but not over saturating it. You know, so we try to find that balance. That's where Chuck really step in, and he, you know, he's like a collaborator on the notes in the iPhone. So I just throw the songs on there, and then he will sort them how they should be delivered and how they should be served to the audience. So, you know, I think we, out of like 50 songs, we might release like 5 to 10 tops. You know, so it's just a matter of repetition, getting in there, getting the reps. You're gonna have, it's a numbers game, you know. Absolutely. One song is gonna do better than the other, and depends on the time of season and all that stuff.
Yeah, but nobody makes hit songs back to back to back.
Yeah.
You got to get the bad stuff out to I feel like that. Like, whenever I make music, I feel like every now and then I'll make something, like, not good. But at least I got it out, because now I won't ever say that again. So now it just makes my brain keep going, like, you know, so.
And it cures to your creativity, too, because it's like it's repetition. The same thing as you playing basketball. You go in the gym, you shoot 100,000 free throws. You're probably going to make that free throw in a game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you got to put the work in, essentially. So with that work, of being in the studio and stuff like that, what inspires you to make the music that you make? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you curate to the ladies a little bit and everything like that. You little smooth dude and
the
shit.
Island boy, man.
Island boy, come on, man.
Ready for the island,
you know what I'm saying? So where you get your inspiration from, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just life. Life interactions with people is usually like the most potent type of content. So other than that, traveling, that's like one thing.
That was gonna be my next question. I see you move around a lot, man.
Yeah, I like to move, man. If I get to a point where I feel stuck, I lose that inspiration. Yeah. So I gotta move too. I gotta see new things. I gotta taste different foods and interact with different types of people, hear new languages.
Yeah.
All that is a source of inspiration for me. So, I mean, mostly I'm curating these songs to the ladies.
Yeah. Shout out to the ladies one time.
I think that's a big inspiration for 99% of men. You know?
That's the way it's gonna go around, bro. Like, of course, I would love my male friends to, you know, relate to my music, but the ladies is what's gonna make it go viral, bro. I'm sorry.
You got that money talk in there too.
Yeah, 100%.
We be talking that money.
Absolutely.
You know, if you go back in my catalog, like Smooth Criminal is a good tape. Has a good mixture of sounds where D&D is probably one of those tracks where you know, I'm talking that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a recent video you just dropped. Is not mistaken, Weather, right?
Yeah.
You shot that?
No, like assistant directed it.
Okay.
Scenes,
so, where'd you get the vision for that song? Like, I heard you say that you're in the booth and you kind of just punch in and you got your eyes closed, you just visualizing. Like, where did that visual come from? Because I know you have a big part in that.
Right.
The lyrics, because that video was fire, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I appreciate that.
That was tough. Yeah. So, how did that vision come about when? Because like if you're hearing it from the beat and it gets to that level of that type of music video, like where were you at?
I mean, first thing when I'm visualizing, I see colors first.
Okay.
So the colors that I was getting with that beat and just that sound was just white, crispy, like big contrast, and like architecture I was seeing. So when it came to that video, I mean, it was like a 2-day shoot. We was trooping, but we had them all listed down already. We knew exactly what shots we wanted.
Yeah.
And the lyrics of the song make it very sexy, seductive.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to throw that in there too, and get close ups on like, you know, her with the lollipop putting the lip gloss on and all that stuff. So we just wanted to highlight that femininity in there, but it's also very seductive and smooth too.
Absolutely.
So the shots was very aesthetic. They was carefully selected.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted aesthetic. We wanted perfect lighting for certain situations. We wanted different angles. We wanted wide shots. So these are all things that I was thinking of prior, you know.
Wow. So those thoughts come to you when you're recording the song? Like you're looking at the dynamic, like because I know you're a business guy, so you're looking at the bigger picture off the rip.
Right. I see the colors. I see the colors, and then I think of areas that match that color,
and
then I start thinking of the shapes and the aesthetics that I want, like, and that's how the scene is chosen in my head.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, it's hard to put like what's in your mind. It's hard to put that, like, explain the process, but that's as close as.
That's a testament to a real artist, man, because I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of people will listen to that and think you're crazy because no, and I'm not saying that with no disrespect, because like I understand where you're coming from, because essentially with doing this, you have to be an artist and you have to think about the dynamic. You got to see the colors, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to doing collabs or just, it has to make sense, you know what I'm saying? So when you're looking at the whole bigger picture, it's like this is the steps that gets you to that process, you know what I'm saying? And then it shows in the music, and it's gonna be an awesome thing when you get the results that you want from your music, because it's like you're really passionate about this shit, and I understand that because the way you just explained that to me.
Right.
So I wasn't trying to make it sound crazy. I was trying to lighten the mood. It came over a little crazy, but
I ain't take no offense to that, bro.
but like for real though, because like if you think about some of the best artists in the business, they'll sit down and give you an explanation of certain shit. Like I hate to bring it up, but Ye and things like that. When he talks about his shit,
thinking about
you get what I'm
Kanye
saying?
when you were saying that. I'm like,
because like
I guess Kanye vibes,
bro. You know what I'm saying? It's because like they may not understand it, but then later on you will understand, because it's like I'm putting my time into this art and I'm investing my soul into this shit. Because if you seeing colors, man, that means that beat really did something. And you're like, yo, I got to put down the best track that I can to deliver to the people.
Yeah. That's, you know, I think that's like every man's superpower is, if you really look at it from the beginning of time, all men have done is just take the ideas they have in their head and put it out into the world for other humans to interact with it.
Yeah.
So I think that's like our greatest gift. So I hone in on that. You know, everybody got an iPhone now, but at some point
there was no iPhone.
iPhone was just an idea in Steve Jobs' head.
Yeah.
You know, so I hone in on that. I think like for you to live your life at the fullest as a man, you gotta take these ideas and put it and watch people interact with it.
It's how the wheel was created, man.
Absolutely.
A man made that.
Shout out to whoever created it. You know what I'm saying? Like these are things.
Shout out to that man.
Yeah,
that
for sure.
Yeah.
These are things that really benefited society. You know what I'm saying? And music is the, you know what I'm saying, the soundtrack to a lot of people's lives. So getting some of the feedback from your music, do you think about your fans, or you just hone in on the creativity part?
All right, so I'm gonna say this with as much love as possible.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about what the fans think necessarily, but I'm sure my true fans appreciate that I don't give a fuck about what they think. Cause that I don't want that to influence me going in and how I make the song. I make the song because I genuinely like it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So whether I would release it for the fans or not, I'm still gonna make the song. You know, it's just the only difference is whether you're hearing it or not.
Yeah.
So I try to stay in that process, because that's when you start to make music for other reasons, and I feel like you lose your passion.
Yeah.
You know, in the long term.
So just a sidebar. Obviously, we see a lot like in the music industry, people talking about like signing to a major label or like staying independent. Like, what's your thoughts on that? Are you signed to a label? Is that a goal of yours, or do you want to grow it independently? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah,
great question.
I'm signed to Kobe Boulevard.
Mm.
I'm signed to my own label right now.
Oh,
I
there you
co-founded with Chuck. So
Very nice.
yeah, we plan to take that a very long way. You know, obviously it's a long-term game. It's a marathon.
The Nipsey route,
But
you know,
Absolutely.
but for sure
Young Dolph.
we definitely we on pace to do the independent route, just because that's where you have more control. And again, letting somebody in and interfering with that creative process, that's like a big thing for me.
Yeah.
You know, I like to protect that energy in that creative space. I like to keep that as authentic as possible.
Has there ever been like discussions about signing to a major label? Because I know like obviously that's more of an aspect of being a business owner. So at times it obviously gets dicey. Like it could definitely be incentivizing. Everyone's situation's different. You know, some people need that signing bonus or whatever it's going to be, that upfront money. Like, has that ever been a thought to you? Like, oh, maybe I should not take the easy route, but like kind of give into that. Like,
yeah, I mean, you know, I think it really is a timing thing. Because even in business, what I learned is like, you get to certain levels where systems fall apart and then you got to scale. So you're going to need some extra funding or capital. So, fortunately, you know, I've been able to see success with the e-commerce stuff to allow me to be in a comfortable position right now. But it's all a timing thing. When things make sense and what's on paper really is beneficial to both parties, hey, we'll consider it.
If it makes sense.
If it makes sense.
So you having like your own label, like obviously you putting out music is a big part of that, but have you started looking at other artists, or do you have any other artists that you're working with? Like, is that a part of the plot too?
For sure. You know, I'm actually releasing a song this Friday. It's called Honey, and I did that.
Is that an exclusive? Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Stream that on all platforms.
See,
Moso, Honey, brought to you by Burn at the Rolling Studios.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So,
sure.
Yeah, it's an honor to announce that here right now. It's for the first time. Honestly.
I appreciate that, man.
But yeah, I did that song with my label mate. Her name is Malaika, and she's fire. Like her voice, I think it blends very well with what we got going on, and you know she fits our culture too. So yeah, shout out to Malaika. Y'all gonna hear what she sound like very soon, and if they like my sound, y'all gonna love her sound. Yeah.
And do you think it's like more valuable to try to sign other artists that have like a similar kind of like sound to you, or are you looking for somebody who's completely unique to try to expand that audience of people, you know, consuming the music?
I think it come down to whichever one feels authentic. I think that's like a big part of our mission statement is just keeping things authentic. And as long as we know that people are putting the best art out as possible, music come in different ways. You know, so we keep the table open, but gotta have that work ethic and it gotta be authentic. That's really what.
Yeah, it's kind of like TDE. Like with like, say you got like Kendrick and then you got SZA, right?
Yeah.
It's two different talents, but her sound is like, bro, who doesn't listen to that? Like it's like amazing, bro. Then you got like
magnetic.
the rap, exactly, and then people, bro, she done sold out X amount of shows, bro. That's gotta mean something, right? I guess, but
arenas.
Yeah.
But she's good though. I like SZA, but just it was kind of a good comparison. You say like you want somebody different on your label. I feel like that's a little bit different, but you know, it's still working out bro, at the end of the day.
Yeah, you don't want everybody sounding
exactly.
Yeah, because it's like you might as well just ghostwrite at that point.
Yeah.
So there's two different there's two different avenues to it. Like again, you're putting out your music, and that's how you're gonna bring in new people. But like personally branding yourself to create that audience. Which do they go hand in hand, or is there one that's kind of more valuable? Like how do you compare those two? Because in this world, I feel like you have to have the music, but you also have to have the content right there matching up. You know, like
nowadays, I would say it's kind of unfortunate because the personal brand tends to overshine the music a little bit more now. So, I think the market is yearning for somebody that's that puts the music first,
but
still can execute on the brand side.
Sure.
So I think that's where we have a good fit. Like there's a gap in the market that we fit in, because we know how to brand, we know how to do the traditional marketing and build the artist, but like, music is first, and that's the product. The product is not the person; it's the music.
Absolutely. So I want to go back to the beginning when you was talking about how the club used to have drums, pianos, and all that. How does that curate to your music? Because I see you be in the studio with live bands, and I see that you like that live. You know what I'm saying? You really feel the music, because when you're there, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just hearing it through the headphones, you're hearing it live.
Yeah.
How does that play into your sound?
And that's where, like, I would say that's where I'm like in my most euphoric state. It's just having the instruments right there. Drums hit different when you it's being played by a human.
Absolutely.
When it's digital, every snare clap sounds the same. But when in person, the person drumming, he could talk to you by making one snare a little bit harder than the other and let you know that this transition is coming up. So it's a different ball game, but it's definitely I enjoy that. It's like that. It give me a rush, if everything's happening cohesively, and
like
it's
a
just
serotonin release.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly. So yeah, I definitely I appreciate the live instruments, and it hits home because like that's where I started.
Yeah, man. So you also said you started out, you rapped a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You moved more towards like the Afrobeat sound now. What are some of your dream collabs? Like who in the industry kind of has like your ear a little bit, where it's like, yo, I would love to work with that person?
Word. Man, I mean, I would have to go Party. I had to go Party Next Door.
Wow.
That's fine.
Don Toliver is tough.
Okay.
He's tough, and like a Wiz Kid.
I knew it was coming.
He's that boy.
I think they're gonna say Tyler.
He's that boy.
I was gonna do top 3, but you just said Tyler. So
she gotta get an honorable mention.
Yeah, we got
that voice is crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
And Thames too.
Crazy,
Don't sleep on Thames.
Oh,
Absolutely. Thames is tough.
Yeah.
So, I think those would be a good
Absolutely.
Good
that's
direction.
a great top 4.
Yeah, I feel like,
top 5.
I feel like Afrobeat is so like a wide, like it's so many people that could just, even if they haven't done it yet, their voice, they could do it, and it's like you just know it's gonna be fire, bro. That's what I love about like that those cultural artists, bro. It's just they could do pop, bro. So many things, and it's like it's just mind blowing, bro.
Yeah, a lot of the music.
I can't do nothing like that. I'm more so on the conscious like rap, Joey Badass, Partisan Fontaine, like stuff like that. So my music is totally a spin from Afrobeat, but I do enjoy it. It gives me inspiration, but has its pros and cons. I can't do none of that. So, I love it from afar.
So what do you see? Like, what do you foresee in the future? Like, what's next for you, man? Like, you got to this level, you know what I'm saying? You got some music coming out. You just got a little exclusive behind that. You just dropped a couple weeks ago. What do you foresee in the future, in the near future for you?
Yeah, definitely collaborations. I think ultimately music is like a collaborative sport. So definitely expanding the sound and getting inspiration from other artists as well. So that's big. We got some shows planned up. I can't speak on the dates yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
But definitely that's, those live shows and live experiences is something we looking towards. And like when it comes to the rest, Chuck don't even tell me. He just be like, yo, we doing this next week. You know what I'm saying? So he'd probably be a better person to ask.
Absolutely.
For like future stuff. But in the next 30, 60 days, those are definitely something we plan on doing. More content, more videos, more collaborations and shows.
Yeah. And I like that you said that you got some shows coming up, because that's the best thing, is trying to create your own audience and, you know what I'm saying, getting in front of the people. That's the main point. Like you know what I'm saying, the business wants to see, even if you're independent, they want to see that you're able to get up in front of a crowd and, you know what I'm saying, kind of rock a show. So not I don't want to say it's advice, but like some of the people that I looked at in the game that kind of shifted and like did their own thing that were independent was like the La Russells. He was throwing parties in his backyard and just selling those out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Is that something that you would look to do?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, we about to head to a backyard right now.
Another exclusive.
Right. About to head to the backyard right now, bro.
We about to do something in the backyard right now. We're gonna make some content out of it, but
absolutely.
You know, that's a big part of control. And I'm glad you mentioned the Russell because he changing the game right now.
He's showing that there's a way where you don't need where people they're gonna end up needing you. You know what I'm saying? When you create a demand, it's the same thing as business. You supply demand, right? Once you create a demand, people gotta come to you. You know what I'm saying? And then that part, you have the leverage to play the game you want to play, and it doesn't affect your art.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
You know, I feel like Tory played a big part in that too.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people that played into it, and it's like the young Dolphs and all that stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that played into it, but it's just a scary game when you got to fund your own shit. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that if you believe in what you're doing, like both of y'all, if y'all believe in what y'all doing, 100%. Go tenfold. You know what I'm saying? Like just put the bread in. You know what I'm saying? Don't have no fear, because if you believe in what you're doing, you're organically gonna receive the blessings that you're putting out for people, you know, to receive, you know, the blessings that you're putting out for people to consume. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a fact.
Yeah,
bro.
man.
That's definitely a good point. You know, just believing in your vision.
Absolutely.
I think sometimes what hinders a lot of people's creativity is the lack of resources.
Yeah.
You know, so, and then when you do go a long period of time, you save that bread, you're not gonna want to just put it into
because it's like, yo, I put blood, sweat, and tears behind this bag. Like, yo, what if it don't work? But the thing is when you think like that, when you're right, what if it don't? What if it this? What if that?
Fear.
You know what I'm saying?
That's fear.
And I hate bringing up quotes.
Faith over fear, man.
Absolutely.
Over fear.
And you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
Man, this was a dope interview. I appreciate y'all coming through. I know we getting a little crunched on time right now.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I almost lost track for a minute, but I was keep us on track.
I was like, I don't know how long it was.
We good though. So I appreciate you. Once again, I got my guy Moso in the building, Sueno in the building, Cam in the building. There's been another one.
Yo.
Ben, take us up out of here, man.
Yes, sir.
Shit, boy.